So is that a thing now? Is that like AI bots like put outfits together?
Coming for my job.
Chuckling to myself before this interview because I was scrolling Instagram and I saw this guy do an interview with Adam Sandler about his outfits, and it was so funny because he's sitting there and he's like, I went into my closet today, I pulled out some clothes, and like that was what I did. And people are like, oh, he's so steezy. And I'm like, this man is wearing 2 different colored shoes. Like,
Literally, he set a precedent for hungover girls across North America with like the big shorts and the big t-shirt. Like, you didn't have a good night unless you look like Adam Sandler the next day.
So that was pretty fortuitous timing in terms of me saying that right before this interview, getting to talk to a legit personal stylist. I think you have, okay, so I had like a few dream jobs when I was a kid, but after I saw The Devil Wears Prada, for the first time, I was like, well, I have to work in fashion. And that was like my dream for a really long time. So I feel like you actually get to live the dream for real.
Honestly, I don't like feel like I'm living, because I've worked in fashion for 7 years. I honestly didn't feel like I was living the dream until I started my own like personal styling company. Like, working in fashion and working especially on the corporate side of fashion is not as glamorous as you think. People when I was in fashion school, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna look so cool and all this stuff. Like, my inspo was Rachel Green when she was a buyer at Ralph Lauren. That was everything to me. And so that's what I thought it was going to be. And I remember working on the corporate side, and I was like, hey, let me be a friend and whatever. But now I definitely, because I'm like kind of carving out my own little space, I do feel like I'm living the dream, I guess. But it's definitely tough. Like, as you know, like being an entrepreneur, it's ups and downs for sure.
Yeah. I want to talk about that. So you were tell me, like, what were you doing in your last job? When did you decide to break out and do your own thing? Like, was it a long transition between the two, or were you literally like, I'm putting in my 2 weeks and I'm on my way?
Okay, well, so I was at my old job for about 2.5 years. Since I graduated fashion school, I have been like, I was like, I want to be a buyer. I want to be on the buying side, all that stuff. And then I was at my last role for 2.5 years. So I've been an assistant buyer since I graduated school. And honestly, it feels like a long time, but I actually graduated in 2020. So I've been like, I was only really in the corporate side for, what is it now, 2024, 4 years and a bit. I transitioned a lot. Like, I got laid off and then started a new role at like, I don't know if your base is Canadian, but Canadian Tire, which is like the Lowe's of the United States. Like, it's like, I was like plans and like stuff, and it was really scary for a little bit. Like, work was low, mental health was low. And then I moved to Renfrew, which was a luxury department store. So I was there for about 2.5 years, and it was a slow, not burn, but I was so struggling because I was like, okay, I'm assistant buyer, I want to be a buyer, all this stuff. And then honestly, I would say in the past maybe a year and a bit, I was just feeling really like, I was like, hey, this isn't really exactly what I thought I wanted to do. I love fashion, and I love, like, I have a very like creative mind. Like, that's just how my brain works. Like, I'm not analytical, I'm not data driven, I'm not like numbers. I'm very like creative and putting outfits together and fashion and this and that. And that's not what buying is. And that took me 2.5, 3 years to figure out, like, buying isn't what I thought it was, which is like the fashion clothes part of it. It's very analytical. It's very like numbers. You're on Excel. It's not glamorous at all. Not that I was chasing glamour, but like, come on. Like,
I mean, but low key, like, which is totally fine.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so then for about a year, I was like, okay, I'm really like, I'm so down. I don't know what I want to do. And I was also like, it wasn't an itching the side of my brain that I wanted. Like, I remember leaving work every day being like, I am so stupid. Like, I am not smart. Why am I doing this? Like, what's going on? But it was just because it wasn't like, I wasn't flexing the part of my brain that like does this type of stuff and works that way. So then I started posting on Instagram, where all good things happen. And I started posting my outfits and like outfit recommendations and kind of going on Canva and making like outfits and stuff.
Oh, cute.
I started doing that for a little bit, and I was like, okay. And I was getting some good feedback. And a lot of people were like, oh my God, I love your outfits. Like, they're so good, all this stuff. And I was like, okay. And I remember back in university, like I was obsessed with making outfits. Like I remember like, you know, that period of after you finish classes and you're supposed to be studying for exams. Like
Yeah.
I this 2 week period going through my closet and I made the longest lists of outfits, like just outfits on outfits on outfits. Like I should have been studying, but no, I was making outfits instead. Like I was like, I remember like running up and down in my roommates' rooms and like styling them. And so I realized I was like, okay, it kind of like all hit me. I was like, why don't I just do styling?
Yeah.
But it's scary because it's not like it's not corporate. It's not like
Yeah.
what I thought. Like it's not a steady like 9 to 5. It's not a constant paycheck. So I was like, okay, I don't know. And then my best friend, she's been so like helpful. She really like is the one that pushed me to be like, you can, you know, make like do your own company and like make your own business. And I was like, okay, you're right. I can't. She was like, why don't you start your own business and just start your own personal styling? And I was like, yeah, actually, you're right. I should do
Yeah.
that. I had been doing it low key on Instagram for a while. People were DMing me being like, hey, do you do styling? I was like, yeah, I guess so. Like, why not? Not realizing that like I should have just been like more legitimate and been like, yes, I am. But now I am. But like before, I should have just been like, but I didn't know. So started and then in when did I quit? I quit. So in April was when I finally of this year, I was finally like, I need to go. Like a
Yeah.
few things happened at the company that I just was not pleased with. And I was like, this isn't looking like somewhere I just don't see myself taking the next step here.
Yeah.
And I finally in April was like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks. Like, here we go. And then my boss at the time, she was going through like personal family things and I couldn't leave.
Okay.
Like, okay. So then, you know what? At first, I was so upset because I was like, I need to go. But I was like, this gives me a good buffer time to like get my stuff together, like organize. Cause you think like starting, like, it's not as hefty work because it's just like, you know, making a website and all this stuff. But it really has taken a long time to get everything up and going. So I started April was like, hey, I'm doing this. And then I finally in June, I
Yeah.
put my end of June was when I left. So I've been kind of on my own since then. It's about 2.5 months, 3 months now. So it's been interesting. Like it's
That's
been,
amazing.
so yeah.
One question I do have is, so when you decided to start taking Instagram seriously, when
Yeah.
did you start seeing returns on that in terms of like when we're like what kind of level of comments were you getting? Like who's DMing you? Like how long did that process take?
Honestly, so I started my like so I started my so my business I call it Style by Mads. And so I started an Instagram called Style by Mads in like 2022, I want to say.
Okay.
And that was just more of like outfits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it honestly took a few months until people were like, hey, I love your outfits. And honestly, like it's not like I had a crazy amount of followers. Like I think
Right.
on that Instagram, I think I had like 300 followers. Like it really
Okay.
was crazy. But the feedback was really good. And I was like, okay, like there's something here. And it was a few months. Like it wasn't like right away.
Okay.
But I was getting like, even my mom was telling me that her friends were like, I love Maddie's outfits. Like they're so fun and all this stuff. And it was universal, which I feel like is really important to styling. Like it wasn't just like, I know there's those girls on Instagram that have the most sickening style and you're like, I need this, but it's so unattainable. And I
Mm-hmm.
what my outfits and my style and what I like really hold true in my personal styling is like every day, like throwing it on, like easy, like how to look put together, like this and that, like right away. And it's not like this crazy intricate thing where you need to go get this and you need to get that. So I think a lot of people were like seeing that it's just like more like relatable and easy. And so it took a few months. And then finally I moved everything over because I was on this Style by Mads. And then
Yeah.
talking to some other people about like, you know, moving it over to my main account, which is Maddi
Yeah.
Soubry. And that has more followers. Like that was just the one that I've had forever. And everyone was like, use that. And then that's when I really noticed a huge shift because
Mm.
reach was bigger and it was people that I've made connections with in my life and people who have like known me forever. So that's when I moved it over, honestly. So I started really taking my main Instagram seriously in April. And honestly, it felt like it was instant. Like people were
Yeah.
like, love your outfits, like all this stuff, like do you do personal styling? And like I will never forget when I went on a trip to Italy and I was posting my outfits, and I hadn't told anybody that I was going to be launching a company. And I had this one girl DM me and she was like, are you doing personal styling? Like I need help. And I was like, this is so kismet because I'm starting up like the big
Yeah.
job. It really like it all kind of flowed. And that's really like also what gave me the confidence to quit my job because a lot of people people are like, you're very confident for just quitting. Well, no, my gut just told me the whole time. I was like, this is what you're supposed to do. Just keep going. and like people reaching out, and like it took of course that first account was that, but really like going on my main and just not being like embarrassed. Like so many people,
Yes.
so like what are people thinking of me? What are people that you went to high school with thinking of me? And of course that crosses my mind. Like
Yeah.
honestly, it's like who like then you're like then
Yeah,
leave.
fuck it.
If you don't care, if you like don't want my fashion, then please like unfollow me. I don't really care. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing my own thing and I will find a new group, a corner space of the internet that's healthy and happy
Yeah.
and wants fashion. So it was honestly just like letting go of that and just like posting on my main and being
Yeah.
embracing it all. And that has really helped.
No, the reason I ask is A, because I think it's important to be like honest and realistic about exactly how long this shit takes, because nobody actually is. And when you're starting out and you like are educating people on whatever your business is online, it can feel like you're expecting instantaneous results, which never is the case. And I had a similar experience to you. Like, I don't know if it's just because it's our age demographic, that back in the day when Instagram was just starting, like everyone had a personal and then they had like another one that was whatever their business was. And so I did the same for the podcast.
Mhm.
And I hated it. I frankly, like, it was so hard to do both. And especially now, I think the thing that people are craving is they want to understand who, like, they care more about who is behind the business rather than necessarily like what the product or service is. And what people buy into is you as the founder, and then they'll like eventually buy your product or service, right? So like, I think it makes way more sense to combine them. And I literally did the exact same thing as you, where I was posting on like the podcast one. And then I was like, one day I literally said to myself, why do I need to do what everyone else tells you you should do? I really just need to focus and do what I need to do. And it's too hard for me to have these like separate accounts. So just to post them all in one makes way more sense. And then same girl, I saw a way better reach
Seriously.
afterwards, like posting on my on like my personal. And I think it's more fun to have like a diversity on your actual page itself.
100%. And you're right. Like seriously, I almost felt like I was like hiding behind this account, like
Yeah.
using it as I was kind of scared to put myself out there.
Yeah.
And then
Totally.
finally I was just like, no, I'm doing this. And I started posting on my main. I was like the reach is just better because you're right. Like people want to see you and they want to see like, so it was so funny because my business originally was like, it's styled by Mads, but now like my website is like Maddi Soubry. Like it's all my name because you're right. Like people want to see who you are. And like, especially in styling, like it's
Yeah.
personal. I want to get to know you. You want to know me. I'm not just some AI bot that's gonna like make an outfit for you.
Yeah.
You need my brain, but no, totally. Like having a face to the name is so important to people, especially like when you're building a company, because like people want to see you and see that you're like a real person.
Wait, so is that a thing now? Is that like AI bots like put outfits together?
Coming for my job, like it's
Wait.
it's scary. People are like, yeah, like all these apps are coming out where it's like you can upload all of your outfits or like clothes. Oh my god, I don't want to like give, like take my business. Like, yeah, like full apps where it's like they'll make outfits for you. And I'm
But
like,
like, how does that work? Do you have to like submit your Pinterest inspo and then like they do that based on what you have, or?
problem, I don't think it's that. Like I think it takes the like because a lot of like when I do my consultations, I'm like, hey, what do you want? Like you're like
Right.
this Pinterest is my biggest tool. Like
Yeah.
I use it every day. I tell people like when they're trying to develop their style, like go to Pinterest and make a
Yeah.
board because it's the best way to find out. But I don't know, like these bots, like that's a thing. And I think, I mean, I hope I haven't tried it and I don't want to because I don't want to know that like I will be on the job. But I think that the problem is it just takes like what you currently own and then
Yeah.
makes bits with it, which is great. But sometimes it's missing like a piece or this or that. Like I don't know if it like recommends like the next step.
But I also think that the best part about you is that you are educating your clients. You're teaching a man how to fish. You're not providing him with said fish. Whereas I feel like AI is providing the fish, and like you I can understand like why it might sound like a good idea to have AI accomplish this goal, but like when I think about how I'm going to put together an outfit, like first step, Pinterest. I go to Pinterest and I'm like, what am I into? What do I feel like wearing today? And then I go to my closet and I'm like, okay, well, what can I use to sort of like recreate this? And I think where you come in is it's like for those who need extra help or don't want to have to do the first step, which is to research and think and put together, like you are able to come in and help people figure it out, and then also like help them to feel more confident in picking things out. And eventually, like maybe they'll be able to figure it out on their own.
100%. That's such a good analogy. And I am so here for it. It's so true. And like another thing that AI doesn't do is they don't do closet clean outs. I'll tell you that. Like they can't do it for you. So there is like, you know what? There's definitely like a space for AI. I am a chat GPT girl through and through.
Same.
But you're right. Like it's the personal side of it. It's also like, you hired a hype man. Like I'm here to like, you look amazing. Like my motto is like, look great, feel great. And like, you can tell like when someone is in a sickening outfit, like I feel the same way. Like when I'm in an outfit that is just everything, like my confidence, you can't touch me. Like,
oh no,
you can't go near me. Like I don't want to hear it. So it's like it's the aspect of just being personal and like making that connection that unfortunately AI can never and will never.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm also curious to get your take on, I don't know, this is something I've always thought about, and it's like the evolution of our style as we get older, what we consider professional, like how that plays in with trends, and like, I don't know, I'm just curious to get your take on like fashion right now.
Yeah. So it's so funny because I've been looking, because of course, like I'm a stylist, so I do need to on trends, and I love to do trend like reports. Like I love to look at what's in style because it does help. Like you want to be, of course, you want to be like not dated. You want to be of the time. But honestly, like I love like right now what like you can tell there's certain things that are like crazy fast fashion. Like right now I love, and I've posted videos, so I do love it. Like I love suede. I do 100%. But I am so trepidatious to spend a lot of money on suede, like a brown suede bag or like a brown suede jacket. Like it is iconic and it is gorgeous, but like I don't know, there's certain trends that scare me. So it's very right now I definitely think it's like, and also another thing is like you don't have to buy every single trend. You know what I mean? Like I on TikTok, all these there's like it's like divided. It's like half girls are like, these are the trends and get this and get that. And then there's the other girls that are like, why are you telling me I need every single trend? Like all this stuff. And there's no in between.
Yeah.
Like you don't need every trend. I think what the most important thing is like dressing for what makes you feel confident and what your body type is, I think is so important.
Yes.
And say like my own self, like I think it was last year and still this year, you know, that baggy white wide leg, like very, very baggy jeans, like loose.
The ones that are like insane.
Yes, those were everything. And like you bet I was at Abercrombie trying to find a pair of baggy jeans, but they just like didn't look good on me. And like that, like no matter how trendy they are, like if it doesn't make me look good and like doesn't make me feel good, then what's the point of spending your money on it? And I always say that to my clients. Like first and foremost is finding stuff that like works for you, works for your body, works for your lifestyle. There's also so many trends that like just don't work for people's lifestyles. Like right now, a huge trend is leopard and animal print. And like I love it personally because I don't work a corporate job and I don't like, you know, all this stuff. So I can walk around in leopard print. But like one of my clients, she works like on Bay Street, which is like the financial district here. Like she's like, I can't wear leopard to work. Like so you know, so like, it varies based on your lifestyle. Like if that works in your life, then great. If you want to have fun with certain things, then great. But and nowadays, like everything is so expensive and like are just like wild, like out of control. And so I'm just always like dress for your body, dress for your lifestyle, and also like buy quality pieces when they you know they work in your lifestyle. So for example, I'll take this client that works on Bay Street. I'm like, invest in a really good blazer. Like you're wear this to work every day, like and once you have a good blazer, like you'll have it. Whereas like on the other side, like a basic, like a tank, I will never recommend a tank over like honestly $30. Like
absolutely
those are interchangeable. We don't need to be spending like crazy amount of money. Like I love Reformation, but I don't know why their tanks are $70. Don't need to be like that at all.
Truly.
There's different aspects of like fashion right now that I'm obsessed with, of course, but it's so like again, it's personal. Like not everybody can wear all these trends, and I like also want to take the pressure off people. Like you don't have to look good and to feel confident and like love your wardrobe. It doesn't have to be super trend heavy, and like following what everyone's saying to do and all this stuff. And of course, it's hard when you open up social media and everyone's wearing this, that, and this, and that, and you feel like you need this. Like, of course, I feel that all the time, but it's so important to just like stay true to like values and your lifestyle, because that at the end of the day, like when you can dress for like confidently for your lifestyle, like that's when you'll feel more confident, not like buying a pair of shoes that you saw were trending and then like you wear them a few times and you're like, okay, well, that was fun.
I feel like this is also just maturing. Like back in the day, I also had a hyperfixation on baggy jeans because I just feel like I saw so many other like super like model-esque girls wearing it and they look amazing. And I would see them and like want that for myself to like absolve my own insecurities. And of course, it never really like looked right on my body.
No.
And I think getting older is realizing it's half accepting your body for what it is and realizing that what looks good on you obviously is not going to look good on other people, but then like in that acceptance comes this desire to want to make your body type look amazing, and so you start to buy clothes that make you feel great for who you are as opposed to like making you feel good for trying to be something that you're not.
Of course, like honestly, like, and I feel like that's also like that is growing up. It's like part of style evolution, like your own personal style. Like I look back on pictures of when I first really started to like find my own personal style, and woof, like girl was not okay. She
Yeah.
like really mentally, physically, no one was home. And part of like you want to try these crazy things. Like it's so funny because I did my own little closet clean out, and I was selling some stuff on Poshmark, and like I got like I was, especially during COVID, I feel like that's when really people were like trend crazy because nothing else was going on and you were just
Yeah.
like, and you just wanted a piece of happiness. So I remember like I'm selling this like on Poshmark, this like pink like furry cardigan, and I'm like, girl, what were
Oh, I
you
know exactly what you're talking about because I had one in blue.
dead? Yeah. Do you remember that time? Like
Yes.
everyone needed a furry cardigan, like a big fur.
Yes.
And
At the
I
collar.
love, yep. And I was
I
like,
literally had the exact same one.
yeah. And I was like, okay, what was this? What's up? And like now
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. But it's all, I totally agree. Like growing up is realizing like you just dress for how it feels good. And I also have genuinely stopped looking at, I don't follow Kendall. I love her, but I do not follow her anymore. Like I also have just purged my Instagram following and my explore feed of
Mhm.
unrealistic body standards, because no matter how much I work out, how much I like whatever I eat, like I will never look like that. And that is
Yeah.
also coming up, is realizing that like we're just built differently, and what is going to look good on somebody will not necessarily look good on me, especially somebody like Miss Kendall Jenner, like especially. So I love like, and that is like the happy part of the internet that I love, is like finding creators and fashion girls that like have realistic body types and have like a realistic like wardrobe, and
Yeah.
like just it's more like relatable, and it's like, okay, I like that. Like this, like I can totally recreate. Whereas like
Yeah.
like that era, I swear it was like after like 2016, 2019, it was like whatever the Kardashians were wearing, I need. And I do like them, but it was just like really, it was toxic for us and for
Yeah.
our wardrobes.
I think that's another big takeaway for me is something that I also did was like purge my Instagram following. And I think this is another like maturing moment where it's I'm no longer infatuated by lifestyles and fashion styles that don't inspire what I imagine my future to look like. Like I don't imagine myself as a full influencer girly that's just like exclusively going out and like taking pictures for a living. Like that I think is what I thought I wanted. And so those were the type of people that I was following as inspo. And
Yep.
now it's more like my page is almost exclusively like other female entrepreneurs, other founders, and like a lot of those girls do have fashion brands, which is great because then I'm like fulfilling that desire, but I'm more or less like finding inspiration in things that I look up to as opposed to like things that like my ego wanted.
100%. Like, and totally feel you. Like, it's like, I realize now, like, and I feel like that's what a lot of people want to see is like, I thought like when you first start like a brand or a company, or you first like start kind of like putting yourself out online, you think you need to be like these high
Yes.
fashion influencer girlies. And like, that will just never be me. Like I think I go out once a week and like that's enough. Like I'm recovering for
Same.
months after, and like my social battery is this low. Like I try and I'm getting better at posting content, but I can't be in a fit every single day. I can't be looking good every day. Like most days I'm genuinely like still in my pajamas and wearing a hoodie, and like I just can't like
Yeah.
be like that. And so you're right. Like I put, same as you, I put so much pressure on myself to like be this like certain image where it's just like not me and it's never going to be me. Like I am a chill like person. And also I feel like it's, you have to kind of like, Instagram and like social media is evolving into now it's not, I think people are kind of like seeing behind the doors now, and they're seeing
Yeah.
that everybody is like that. And it's funny because like I've been to a few events seeing these influencers and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. And some of them are like so mean, it's crazy. And some of them are,
Oh,
oh yeah, it's crazy. And some of them, but then some of them are so lovely, and but there's no in between. So it's
okay.
like, so then I'm just like, okay. And so it's just like a lot. And then you're like, okay, but I need to be this. If I want to be successful, I have to look like this. And it's like, no,
Mm,
you like, you don't have to do any of that. And a lot of the stuff that as a like that I want to lean into for like my content is like helpful. Like it's actual information that you can
yes.
take, apply to your actual closet. Like I don't think now it's like before it was like buy this, this, and this. Of course, like I do outfit recommendations and I show this and that, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that I post, like if I'm gonna show you a like a brown sweater, a white t-shirt, and jeans, like you can still wear that outfit with a black sweater and a t-shirt and jeans. Like
Yes.
you don't need this sweater. Of course, it's gorgeous, but you don't need it. Like I want to post content that like you can apply to your everyday, and you can like someone can watch it and be like, oh, that was really helpful. Like I'm gonna try that with my closet, or
Yeah.
try that when I go shopping next. Like something like that, rather than like I need this, I have to look like this in order to be this and all this stuff. Like it's just too much.
Yeah. And interestingly, I think with fashion, it's such a representation of who you are. And I might be assuming, but I imagine that a lot of people come to you because they don't, I mean, like, struggle with this. Everyone struggles with how to articulate themselves visually because I think the same applies to like how you show yourself online and what kind of content you post. So I
Yeah.
imagine that a lot of women come to you and they're like, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing in my closet, and it's
Yeah.
just because they don't know how to express or articulate themselves, and like that's where you come in and you help them do so realistically. So I would
Exactly.
love for you to take me through that process also because like I want to learn to see what I can learn from you about like how I can improve my own personal style.
Totally. So I like, I'll start it, for example, like let's use a hypothetical client and let's call her Summer, because I'm holding my Summer Fridays. So Summer's like, I need like an entire new wardrobe. I have no idea what I'm doing, all this stuff. So what I usually love to do is I always recommend a closet purge. Like
Okay.
you always make like there's some stuff that you don't need, and a lot of people are shocked with what they can actually sell in their closet. Like if you, I will like, that's a service that I do, like I will do it for you, but like a lot of the times like you can make like you can make like, you know, not a lot, it depends on the item, it depends on the item. If the
Right.
item is a nice designer item, take it to a consignment store and make that bank. But I always recommend like going through your closet, like really taking a look at what you need and like what you don't wear anymore. Like there's so many like it's and every season, like I say, do it every single season. So with summer, for example, we're going into fall, I'd be like, okay, let's go look through your closet. We would go through everything, and you can like, I can tell instantly, like when, even because I do virtual like consultations and packages too, and I can tell like that if you're holding up a shirt and it's not, it doesn't like serve you, or yeah, you feel meh about it, I'm like, get rid of it, you don't need it. Like you're
Yeah.
never gonna wear it. And if you feel like meh, and I can see that on you, like get rid of it. You don't need
Yeah.
it. Like make room for something that will make you happy and you love and will make you feel confident. So I always say like go through everything, you know, work through like see what you don't need, then get rid of that. And then the stuff that we do have, what I like to do is like then that's when Pinterest comes in, that's when inspo comes in, that's when I want to like talk you through like who do you look up to, like whose style do you like, and it's very like it ranges. So like for, you know, it depends on who you are as like a person. Like me personally, I love like Sophia Richie, and I do
Hmm.
her, yes, is she a gajillionaire with 1,000%, but I do feel like there are like her like style has kind of come down to mainstream. So a lot of that is like I can draw inspo fun. So let's say Summer is like loves Sophia Richie and that's where she wants to look. And I also love to do like a style quiz to see kind of where you lean in your lifestyle. So for example, like let's say Summer, she is like when I go to work, I want to look like clean and chic. And then on the weekends, I do Pilates and I go for drinks with my girlfriend. So
Yeah.
also say that a lot of times when you work a corporate job, like correct me if I'm wrong, I felt my personal experience was like a lot of the like outfits that I wear to work are elevated and I can take those pieces and recreate them into like my going out because I'm older now and I'm not wearing like a tiny little top and like,
Thank you.
it's not that anymore. We are looking
Yeah.
elevated. So it's like I was styling a client and she wore this like it's not a tube top, but it looks like a vest. You know those vests, like the tailored vests?
Yeah, yeah.
But it was like a strapless and it was gorgeous. It had buttons and it had pockets and it was
Wait, I think I literally have one of those.
yes, it's very, very clean. And it's like, when you go to work, you can wear a nice silk skirt with it. But then when you go out for drinks, you can wear it with jeans and you can wear it pumps. So it's like, there's just like looking at your clothes and seeing where you can wear them and like what you want to like develop your style into. And then what I have been doing and what I recommend to do is honestly, and it's free, going into stores, like carving out 2 hours or whatever, and going into like a bigger store, I don't know if you guys have like an Aritzia or like an
Yeah,
H&M or like a Zara, like I would say probably H&M or Aritzia, and just like honestly, like trying everything, and like maybe
yeah.
there's you like just trying stuff on, seeing like if you see something on your Pinterest and you're like, wait, would that look cute on me? Like try it on, like why not? Like
Smart.
take that time to go and like just try and develop for free. Like develop your personal style for free. It's not just like you don't have to buy anything. You can just like see if certain things work for your body or not and like
Yeah.
try it on and you're like, wait, I actually don't think I would ever wear this. Whereas you're looking at it online, you're like, I need this. I'm gonna wear this every time. And
Yes.
then you get it and you're like, no, I won't. But
Yes.
going into the stores and like trying stuff on and like seeing how it feels on your body, seeing like what works, what doesn't, and then that can really like help you develop your where you want to lean your style because it's A, free, and B, it really like it weans out the stuff that you don't think you'll wear.
Yeah.
From there, like taking those core pieces and kind of just like if you need to buy them, like buy them. If you want to find some dupes, like you can find like every store has an iteration of everything, which is another like great thing about fashion right now is like it's like so funny. Like the stuff that I love at Aritzia, we have Dynamite and it's like literally like Aritzia, but like a little cheaper. So
Yeah.
it's like, you don't want to spend that much money, go to Dynamite. Or if you want to spend like a crazy amount of money on, like the, oh my God, Gap right now is literally unbelievable. I
It's
don't
so cute.
so good. And so it's like, I like the Row. Everyone loves the Row. Like the Row
Yeah.
is clean and classic and it's like mature, but it's so good. But like who's spending like $3,000 on a knit? Like I can't. But the Gap is doing kind of similar things. Like I got a gorgeous sweater from the Gap. It's like $90 and it looks like this the Row knit. So it's like kind of just like sitting down, like figuring out what pieces you like really think will elevate your own life and just like it's all about trial and error. Like
Yeah.
that's what I say, like go into a store and just try, like literally. And I know a lot of people like hate shopping, which is where I come in and I'll just do it for you. But if you're just like, I want to like figure out my style, like Pinterest and then going into a store and just like
Yeah.
going ham. And then also it's like if you're by yourself, like and you're embarrassed, like you're just by yourself. Like if something looks insane, except for in Aritzia where the mirrors are outside of the dressing room, that is jail. Put mirror in the dressing room. We're embarrassed. Like it's scary.
It's
It's
true.
like I don't want to come out in this like top. I know I don't like it. Like it's so scary.
Or like they're because for me, like I'm a thick thighed girly, and like there's sometimes that I try on a skirt and it is so short, and I'm like, well, I'm not leaving the dressing room because I know if I take one step, my booty is gonna be hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
No, seriously. I'm like, and then it's like I'm just curious, like what does it look like on? But I don't want to leave. Like it's so bad. It's jail.
Yeah.
But the dressing rooms with mirrors or the stores that have mirrors in the dressing rooms, like thank you. Like I didn't realize it was like a lot, but thank you.
Should be the baseline.
No,
I also find too that like overconsumption makes it hard to pick out an outfit. Like if you have a ton of stuff in your closet,
yeah.
it is actually way harder to style than if you have less.
100,000%. That's why I always say start with a purge. Like
Yeah.
start purge, and then you can really like, because then you'll see you do have, and it's funny because like I'll do these closet clean outs with some of my clients and they're like, oh my God, I forgot that I had this. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, and this is a good like shirt or a good whatever, and you forget that you have it, and then you're like, wait a second, and then it becomes back into your rotation, but because it gets lost in the shuffle because you're buying so much new stuff because you're seeing it on the internet and you think that you need it,
Yeah.
like start with what's at home and what you've got and purge from there, and then like of course you've made room for new stuff. It's girl math.
I
Like
live for girl math.
so it's the best.
So now that you've been doing this for a few months, how has it been going? Like, what do you think about the experience? Are you loving it? Is it everything you dreamed of? Is it also challenging?
It's challenging. It's been interesting, and I love having a community of other entrepreneurs who like I can just be like, is it normal? Like Mel, who you had
Yeah.
interviewed a few like weeks ago, I like have like a coffee like with her. We like hang out quite a bit. We have a coffee, and like every time I'm like, is this normal? Like I'm scared, like all this stuff. She's like, it's okay. Like
Yeah.
first she's like, don't worry. Like she like talks me down the ledge, and having like like an entrepreneur support group is very helpful because it's scary, and especially right when I launched, like I'm not gonna lie, right when I launched, I was like I had a zillion appointments. I was like, oh my God, I'm like, this is amazing. Like I'm gonna be a
Yeah.
million. And then slow down, and it's quiet, and it depends, like especially fashion, like depends on the season. Like right,
Mhm.
it's like a lot of fall, so a lot of people are like August was very quiet, like because everyone's off. Like no one wants to look at anything. Like everyone's off. It's kind of like the universal month to take a break, that and
Yeah.
Christmas. But it's like, so in August, I was like, oh my God, like, what did I just do? Like, did I quit too early? Like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be a failure. Like, terrified because it was quiet, and like, but then it's like, I have to take a step back and be like, wait, it's quiet everywhere. You literally just started. Like, chill. Like, it's all good, and, like, I have to talk myself off the ledge quite a bit. Like, it's funny because the people who I've talked to that are like, "Your confidence, like, you have a lot of confidence to quit your job and do this," and I was like, "Yeah, like, totally," and so I like, my main motto has been "Fake it till I make it," and I'm just, like, going through the motions, like, every day is different, and, I also, like, I have to make sure I track my menstrual cycle very closely because if I'm having those down, like, I've had awful weeks and I'm like, "Mm, something gonna be," like, I
Yeah.
have, because then I'm like, I get so down on myself. I get so
Yeah.
like, I'm again, you obviously tell yourself the worst stuff, and especially when you're entering a new space, you're like, "What am I doing? Like, is everything okay?" It's just it's scary, but then, like, the opposite side of the coin, it's like, it's so fulfilling, like, it's exactly what I wanna do with my life, like, I can do anything, like, the thing that I found frustrating with at my old job was it wasn't necessarily like it was fashion, but it wasn't, like, it was
Yeah.
data, it was analytics, it was numbers, it was business, and, like, I
Mhm.
love, like, business 100%, but I wanted to be, like, hands-on, I wanna create outfits and do all this stuff, and so that's what I get to do, and it's so fun, and then when I have a client or, like, the other day, like, I teach at Equinox, and I had one of my riders come up, and she's like, "Oh, you do styling, right?" And I was like, "Oh my God, are people, like, running up and," like, it was, like, and so, like, things like that, and it's so fulfilling where I'm like, "Okay, this is good." Like, that's the moments that I need to hold on to, because when you're down and when you're low, like, it's, like,
Yeah.
scary, and it's, like, I'm terrified, but I wouldn't I luckily, like, I really have to trust my gut, and my gut is telling me, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Keep going, like, it'll be like, of course, like, with any business, unless it's not usually like that. It's about building, like, a core tenets to your business, like building a base. Like, it takes time. And so I
Yeah.
need to always remind myself that, and like honestly trust my gut. Like, that is the biggest thing that I have been doing, is just trusting my gut, and always like making sure, like, okay, this is what like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this, so just keep going. But it's scary. Like, it's scary.
Yeah. No, I
Mm.
think something that you said that I really liked was that I didn't actually put it together until now, but truly, when you work in corporate, you are asked to do one section of the business. Like, that is what you do. You do this one thing, and that's really all you do. And if you work in like a startup like I do, I work in tech, so I kind of work multiple jobs. Like my official title is technically I'm an office manager, but I really mostly do marketing work.
Okay.
And that's rare, right? Like to do multiple things. But when you work in corporate, like you do the one thing. You do either the data, you do the analytics, you do like whatever your job title is. Whereas when you become an entrepreneur, you get to do not only the stuff that you really wanted to do that you weren't doing before, but you
Yeah.
get to do all the other things. Like you get to do anything. And I think that shows you what you're capable of beyond what you initially believed you were capable of. So like blows up what your self-imposed limits were and allows you to see like how much you're really capable of, which is super dope.
Well, that's
But
exactly it.
yeah, it's not to say that that's not hard, because all of a sudden you're being asked to do all these things that you've never thought of doing, that you were like, am I even qualified for this? Like, I don't know.
Huh?
But you are just constantly like pushing past these self-imposed limits that you have. And then when you hit that high of like, I've achieved something, or like something has happened and it's super exciting, you're like, holy shit, it's working.
No, literally. And like exactly like what I said earlier, when I felt like every time I left my corporate job and I felt stupid, it's because I wasn't like, I was just like not exercising like my brain. And now that I'm
Yeah.
doing what I actually am good at, I'm like, oh, I am smart. I am intelligent. I got
Yeah.
this. I can do this. Like, I can't believe I didn't think I was smart, or I didn't think that I was capable. Like, it just because it just wasn't clearly the fit for me. And now that I'm in this new space that I've like so graciously and like thank God I've carved out for myself. Like I'm like, oh my God, like get it, girl. And it's like
Yeah.
it's so fun. Also, it's like it's small, like it's small, but there's like this tiny little things that make you just feel like, oh my God, like I'm amazing. But you're right, like there's stuff that I'm being asked to do, and imposter syndrome, my God, it gets in the way like all the time. I'm like even like the second someone asks me, even like still like I'll be like I'll get a new client and I'm like I'm not capable of doing this. There's no way that I
Yeah.
can do it. I'm like, what are you, and then I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I actually do it and I'm like, girl, what? Like it's just this like your mind really plays tricks on you, and it tells you that like
Really.
you can't do this, and then but then you just like kind of like take a step, like take a deep breath and just like do it. And you like, I know I can do these things, but it's like that it's your brain. It really is a little thing, but it also works wonders.
Yeah. And
Mm.
like, I also imagine that it was so weird with like now you're having to deal with like invoices and bookkeeping and like all of this stuff. And did you just like Google how to do all this stuff?
So I'm still like getting through that. Luckily, my
Yeah.
boyfriend is an Excel wizard,
Oh,
so I
stunning.
him to make me like spreadsheets
Yeah.
and like all that stuff. So like he like has I just lean on he like, and that's another thing about starting your own business, that I'm lucky that I'm very like I know what my strong suits are and I know
Yeah.
what my strong suits are not. And
Mhm.
I am not an Excel girl. I bookkeeping and all that stuff. Like I met with a tax
Person.
person guy who at the beginning, my dad helped me set up an appointment with a tax person, and he really walked me through everything. So just to like set me up and to get me like kind of going, just so to make sure also, because I don't want, at the end of the year, like I've
It's
heard like
fucking legal. Like it's heavy shit. It's real. It has to get done. So you might as well do it right the first time.
exactly, and I don't want, to owe like a crazy amount of money at the end of the year and be like,
Right.
yeah, I spent that on clothes. Like, what do you that was my trip. So I'm like, so from the start, like before I even started making, like even before my first sale even came in, I made sure I had things down.
Yeah.
Uh, but but that's something that's not like fun or glamorous to me. So that's something that like, unless I am rigid about it, I can put it off forever. Like
Yeah.
because I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to gather all my receipts and like gather everything and like put them in Excel. But like it's something that you have to do, of course. But I like one thing that I've done from the get and since I've started is like know what I'm good at and then ask for help where things that good at. Like I just launched my website and in no way, shape, or form am I a Squarespace whiz. Like I am like
Me neither.
not at all.
I bought a
And
template. Like
really no same, but like I- and even the template I managed to absolutely mess up. Like it looked, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I had a client who she was really good at Squarespace. So I like did free client like closet cleanup for her, and she helped me with my website. And then my best friend, the one who really pushed me to like start the business, her and her mom are literal like marketing whizzes. And so they were like, "Oh, we'll help you with your website, all this stuff." And I'm like, literally think like I could never have done that myself. But
Yeah.
important to like know you can't do everything. Like at the end of the day, like you're not good at everything. Like what you're good at is what your business is. And if you like understand that you can't accomplish everything and to ask for help, especially to the people in your life that you know are good at it and can like do it, like help you with it. And then of course, like like they love food. I'll take them out. I'm taking them out for dinner. Like they're like, they're, you know what I mean? Like lean on people in your life that like can help you, because you can't do everything, and you shouldn't have to. And there are people who are good at certain things that can help you with that. So that's been something that has been really, really helpful in this whole process of setting up and like getting the business off the ground, is just like leaning on like seeing the people in my life, seeing what they're good at and using them.
Yeah. No. Okay. This is the sign of what I think is like a really smart CEO entrepreneur. Like your job is not all those little things. Like your job is to do the only thing that you can do. And I have felt this way since day one. I am not a finance girly, much to my mom's chagrin. Like she wants me to be a finance girly. And so when my co-founder asked me to become his co-founder, I was like, that's super. And like, he's my guy best friend. So he actually knows like my strengths and my weaknesses. And so he handles all the finance. He does all the spreadsheets. Like he will probably do most of the bookkeeping and like, especially at the beginning phases while we get off the ground, because that was something I knew. I was like, I cannot wait to hire somebody to handle all that shit. Cause that's just not like and nor do I frankly want to. Like, of course I want to know what's going on because I have to. And if you don't know what's going on in the finances of your business, like that's an issue.
Yep.
But I don't want to be in charge of it. Like
No.
I would much rather be in charge of other aspects of the business and like
Same.
let my mind thrive where it should. And like, I feel like it's kind of like life, right? Like I don't love doing my chores, but I have to do them because I like to live in a clean home.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Exactly. And like a clean mind. Like, and why spend, it's also like time is money. Like, why spend, like, honestly, it would have taken me probably to make my like Squarespace website, honestly, probably a good week. And it took them a few hours. And like, and literally, and
Probably it took me so long.
why would I literally spend like a week of time that I could be making content for my Instagram, like making outfits, like working with clients, like doing that when like, and instead of like, and just being like, no, I need to do this myself. Like, no, like, or even like, you know, spreadsheet, like I could, I mean, I Excel, like I can't, but like it took my boyfriend, like seriously, he's like, beep boop bop, here you go. I'm like, great. And now all I have to do is just like type in like, you know, X, Y, and Z, and it like flows all through. And I'm like, thank you. Like, it's no point in wasting your energy too, which is a thing that I'm realizing is like balancing and like my internal battery and energy on things that like don't like yes, they matter, but that's not my strong suit. And I'll spend so much energy and then I'll be burnt out for like a week because I'm like, oh my God, that was exhausting. Whereas like lean on people, like use people who's at their strength, and then you can focus on what you need to do, which is doing your business.
Yeah. I'm also curious, how has the client process been? Like you mentioned before that like people were coming to you. Is that still the case? Or do you also have like means of outreach that work really well?
So first it was people were coming to me like just on DMs. This was before I even like, cause I think I posted on Instagram being like, I'm launching a business. And so before that, people were coming to me, and then I posted on Instagram, but it wasn't a lot. It was like two or three people. And then on, when I posted like, I'm launching a business, and I was looking, cause I had worked with like a business, like she helped me kind of set everything up from the, like, just like the back end stuff.
Okay.
And so she was like, before I really like put my website out, because to me in my mind, my website was like my launch. Like that's what it was like, okay, we're like all scenes go, like we're going here. This is a legitimate business. She was like, before you do that, like have some like beta testers. So to work out the kinks, which really helped also with my imposter syndrome, because I was doing like honestly, my first 5 clients were free. And I was just like, I'm just asking for your time and for your like a positive review, hopefully,
Yeah, like feedback.
just feedback and like all this stuff. And that really helped set up the initial parts of the business where I like literally like the first 5 clients were free. Like some of them I was like, can you just like post like, or like, one girl helped me with my website. Like we kind of like gave some back and forth. And that helped like really, cause it took the pressure off me where I was like, no one's paying me for this right now. Like
Yeah.
figure this out. It's not that serious. Like it's free. So like we're
It's
not
practice.
and then I started getting some paid clients. And then, so it was a lot on Instagram. And now that I've launched my website, I have on my website like I said, I love, like, I don't think you need to spend a zillion dollars on clothes. So I love a dupe. Like I call myself the queen of the dupes. So I have on my website, like get my favorite designer items for under $100. And to do that, I take your email
Yeah.
and and then I'll send out, I have a newsletter. So every Saturday,
Okay.
newsletter, and I'll be like, this is what happened on my Instagram. I post on my blog, like this is what happened on my blog. I have like certain promos. So like for September, for example, I'm doing like a closet clean out and a like a style development for like $200, it's regular $400. Like, so I have like a newsletter that I sent outreach to people who like subscribe to my website. And then a lot on Instagram. Like Instagram is really big, and it's also just like huge for getting information out there. And that's also what I've realized for like launching the business and where my content is going is it's so funny because I posted on Instagram like in July, like I'm launching a business. And I thought that like everyone just knew I was like running a business. And then I started posting like styling content and people were like, I didn't know you did this. And I was like, well, I posted about
Yeah,
it.
Instagram.
Talking about, but yeah. So then I'm like, okay. So and then it helped me kind of lead my content towards styling and how to's and like how to work. So see like, oh, she's a stylist.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So it's now like it's a lot of Instagram. It's a lot of like outreach. It's like my web is just sending my website out there. It's posting. It's like it's word of mouth. It's a lot of word of mouth. So and now a lot of the people that I'm working with, it's like, yeah, they'll DM me on Instagram or they'll just kind of find my website and just go on there. And it's a lot of another thing that I'm not good at is like SEO and search engine and
Yeah,
Google.
it's complicated.
I have no idea how to work that. So that's like something that I'm currently doing is like how to get my SEO better. I don't know the term, but like
Yeah.
make myself more Googleable, I guess. So like
Yeah.
that's, those positive reviews on Google and honestly, I've had so much fun. I started a blog and like I have so much fun with my blog posts, like not to like toot my own horn, but I think I'm a comedian and like I literally like I just like literally like yesterday I was writing a post about fall shoes, like trends for shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was writing my post and I was laughing away. Like I don't know if it translates properly, but like so funny. And like I don't know. So
No,
there's
that
like
makes me want to be involved. Like I want to know now because if you're having fun with it, I guarantee that everyone else who's reading it is having fun with it.
totally. And that's another thing that like to back to that conversation about posting is like I've been getting so many people have been like, I love your content. Like I can tell like it feels very authentic. They're like, I can
Yeah.
tell this is what you love and you're good at it and all this stuff. And so for my like personality and for my like passions to like come through the screen and so you can see it is like really like because it's funny because it's like that's just who I am and that's just how I'm
Yeah.
posting. Nights I'm like, okay, thank God. Like this feels very authentic to me. So when it comes across like that and it's just like fun and it's lighthearted and it's not serious and also like even if you haven't like purchase a package from me, I still say I'm your stylist. So like on my blog, I'm like, are you happy you found a stylist? Like I'm your stylist. Like don't worry. Like so it's like you don't have to necessarily buy my services, but you can call me your stylist. Like because I am like you still come to me for trends and how to's and what to wear and all this stuff. So like it's not necessarily like eventually like there's gonna like I hope there's a transaction, but it doesn't need to be like that. Like I just want to give all of my expertise and all of my like I'm doing the research so you don't have to. Like my goal at the end of the day and the end of the day of personal styling is just making your life easier because a lot of people don't know how to they struggle
Yeah.
with outfits and they struggle with what to wear and all this stuff. And that's just honestly at the end of the day, like what I'm just making your life easier, and that's all I want to do. So whether it's like you reach out to me or I reach out to you or whatever, like it's just all in all like a positive experience, I hope.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense, and I really relate a lot to that because I feel like I'm the same way where like technically I don't have any transaction that has to occur yet. Like, maybe one day we'll do subscriptions, stuff like that, but I feel like anytime I talk about the podcast, it's more I'm expressing like my just genuine obsession with entrepreneurialism, and like this is just the way with which I express that. And like I had a switch flip the other day where I was like, I just need to be talking about that on my Instagram. I don't know why I made it so complicated in my head about like what I'm supposed to be posting and how I'm supposed to be talking about myself and like talking about what I do. And it took so much pressure off to just really think about it as like, no, this is something I love and I love talking about. And really, like, I want to help other people. Like at this stage, to be like, oh, I've always wanted to be a personal stylist. I didn't think that that was an option. And like now they come listen to this episode and they're like, hot damn, like I can do this, you know?
You 100% can. And it's all about just like, that's exactly it. Like, if you're like, for people who want to be a personal stylist, like, if your passion is fashion and all this stuff, and just like people will see that. Like, it's not, it, it won't work if it's not authentic to you. And pushing for that. And that's what I realized when I was at my old job, is I was like, I was pushing and pushing, and like, it didn't feel authentic to me. Whereas now, I like, same thing as you. I just like stopped putting so much, and I'm like, oh, and it's what I love, and it's just easy. Like, it flows out of me, and like, it's not that serious. And again, it's all social media. Like, maybe just put the phone down. It's not that serious. And
It's not.
also, I feel like now a lot of people put pressure on, like, especially if you're starting your own business or you're kind of like making your own brand, like virality and popping off right away. And like, you see like Alex Earl is a different like sphere, but people that just rise to fame like that and
Yeah.
pop off and all this stuff, like 99% of the time it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's months and years of building and slowly building those bricks, but always coming back to like what is important to you and like what you love. Because it's like, I like, of course, like, would I love to pop off like Alex Earl? Of course, but like, at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't like, if every day I can look back and like post like what I love about fashion, I'm always gonna love that because I've loved that forever. And it's like, I'm not posting things that are inauthentic to me or like something just make me someone that I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
I can always go back to like my core tenets of like just posting a cute outfit, like,
Honestly.
it's not that serious. It's just a cute fit, and it's like, it makes me happy, and it's like, it translates properly. And so it's about just really like what your values are, and
Yeah.
letting it show, not letting what you think people need to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the perfect place to close. Maddi, this has been epic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was so fun.